Hello and welcome back. Today we'll be taking a look at how to make a simple and easy Enderman farm. Timestamps are available in the description, along with a detailed material list. In this tutorial today, we'll be taking a look at where to build the farm, the killing floor, spawning, and finally spawn proofing. So let's begin. Alright, so let's take a look at where to build this farm. Seeing as though it's an Enderman farm, it's actually meant to be built in the end. So upon spawning on the 5x5 obsidian platform, we'll travel 250 blocks in the positive X direction. This is so that we're far enough away from any Enderman to spawn, and also so we're completely isolated above the void. Now, you're also welcome to do this in any direction and not have to be exactly positive X, but I do recommend that you travel 250 blocks away from the end island, just so that Endermen don't actually spawn. Now, if you did it correctly, you should be at X 353. So you place down your supplies, and let's get ready to build. We'll begin by looking at some variations of the killing floor. I would highly recommend that you get this part of the build done first, so that once the spawning pad is done being built, the farm is up and running immediately. Now, there are a couple of different ways that we can get rid of ender pearls that you collect. So the first design is simple and effective to get rid of every item that is thrown above it. But be warned, this may even dispense your sword into the void if by accident you throw it. So if you're not too worried about this, let's show you how it's done. Alright, so we're here in the testing world, and we've taken a slice out of the design just to show you a closer look at exactly how everything is put together. And the carpet is actually where the Enderman would fall. So you would stand here on the floor, and this would be your Y149, or whatever height you choose. And you'd be punching the Enderman like so, and this block is above to prevent the Enderman from actually escaping. So let's do this. So we've got 3 blocks going out in this direction, and then 1 facing downwards. And then that 1 facing downwards, we're going to put a dropper. And then we're going to put a block next to that with a repeater feeding into the hopper. And now this is, of course, being built over the void. So if you have built a... I'd highly recommend you build a platform sort of underneath so you could make sure you don't die. And then we're going to put a comparator so that it tests this block, which has the dropper. Put a sticky piston, and then have it facing like that, and then have it facing like so. So if we were to put blocks into this, you would notice that they actually get dispensed. If you have a sword, you throw it on top, it's immediately gone. If by accident you throw it. So that's one of the downfalls of this particular design. The second design is a little more costly, but will save your butt in the long run if you're a little clumsy like me. This design uses item filtration before dispensing all the items. This way, it'll only get rid of ender pearls and not your precious sword, if by accident you throw it. So we're going to work off of the previous design a little bit. And in order to sort of adapt this particular one, just imagine you have to lower this a little bit further. And I'll show you where the ground level has to be. But we don't actually need this 4th hopper here, so we can get rid of that and place a hopper into a block. All right, so above this hopper, we're going to sort of place a couple more. This here is now your ground level. And next to this hopper facing the odd direction, put a comparator and then a block like so. And then we're going to actually need some redstone dust. Whoops. Redstone dust. There you go. And this is the Impulse SV item filtration design. We're going to also need a torch. And then place that like so. There we go. Now let's say, for example, you accidentally throw the wrong item in. You can put a hopper at the end. And this way it'll feed over towards a chest. Like that. And then we have to fill this up with ender pearls. And now there is a specific amount. You have to do all 5 filled in with ender pearls. That way, if we throw some ender pearls down, you'll notice that they actually get chucked into the dispenser here. Sorry, I mean dropper. And they will have one of them sort of stay behind into this bottom one. Now, if we were to throw, let's say, some blocks in there, those would not be dispensed, and instead, they would go right to our chest. So if by accident you were to throw your sword, those wouldn't actually be dispensed. Instead, it would go directly to this chest, and this chest can pretty much be anywhere on the hopper line. That way you can retrieve your items from just about anywhere. I should also mention that the killing station could technically be right here. That would be the shortest possible area for it. So if you were to do carpet and we want to place some carpet on top, this would be now the new killing area. So just imagine the previous design, you got to shift it down a little bit, but that's no worry if you're building it all from scratch. Finally, let's take a look at what we can do if we just want ender pearls, along with item filtration. This is by far the most costly, and when I say that, it just means that it requires a few more hoppers than the other designs. Alright, so finally building off of this design, it's just a quick couple more hoppers like I mentioned. Moving your wall, instead of being right there, it's now right here. And your carpets are now there instead of there, so you're actually adding 1, 2, 3 hoppers to this. And it's super simple. All you got to do is put down a block like so, do this, and a repeater there. Now you got to get some redstone dust, and there you go. Perfect. Now this redstone dust line can actually be transported just about anywhere. For the sake of today, we're going to put it right there. And if you put a lever on it, you'll notice that when we throw items, the items don't actually go through. So though items don't actually appear in here, they get caught in here. So essentially what this does is if you were to fill up both hoppers with ender pearls, like so, and then this one, when you kill an enderman, it wouldn't pick up the ender pearls, nor would it pick up any other item. That way you can jump, like we can walk onto the pad and collect the ender pearls if you'd like. Yeah, just adds another layer of filtering so that you don't automatically dispense them down there. So once you finish the killing floor, you'll need to spawn the enderman. So let's make a chute into the air for the enderman to fall. To do this, we need at least 13 stacks of glass if you want to round off the edges and make it look a little pretty. Less if not. Build up 43 blocks in the air, and at the 43rd block, that's the layer for the spawning pad. So for example, we're at Y49, the same level that the obsidian pad spawns at. Y92 is the ideal height for you to build the floor of your spawning pad. So you build up the cage around the killing area, like so. And if you choose to build at a different height, keep in mind that the spawning area needs to be 43 blocks above the killing pad. Here, at the top, endermen will be spawning and become attracted to the endermite, where they'll fall down to half a heart, and so that we can punch them with our fist. This is the material list for this section. Alright, let's begin with the semicircle. We'll build this simple shape out of logs because, well, they're easy to collect, but you can really use any solid block that you want. Starting in the middle blocks, go 41 out in both directions to the sides. The diameter of our semicircle is 83 blocks, making a single block in the middle. Next, go 41 blocks outwards and connect to the other sides, following the pattern as shown on screen. Feel free to pause now if you'd like. Great, so once that's done, just fill it in and you finish the spawning pad. Alright, so let's move on to the endermite cage now. Start by finding the middle like we marked, and on the other side, direct opposite, place down some blocks and a rail in the middle. This is where we'll trap the endermite. Place trapdoors like so, making sure that the ones above aren't high enough for endermen to kill our endermite. Be sure they're only 2 blocks off the ground. You can now create a small chamber where you'll spawn the endermite, and to be honest, there isn't really any easy way of doing this. You just need a lot of food and ender pearls. Endermites actually have a 5% chance of spawning from where the player uses an ender pearl, so it may take a while. Once he's been spawned, you can name him and get him into our minecart and then push him into place. Note that the enderman will actually start getting aggro at the endermite as soon as they gain line of sight and start rushing towards it. So if you haven't already built the killing floor at the bottom, you may actually have a tough time doing it as enderman will be falling on your head. Now at this point, it's important to note that if you want the ideal spawns, you're going to want to put carpets all across the redstone and your build. Now, For my purposes here, I haven't actually built anything, but it's a good idea and a good practice to put carpets 32 blocks, even up to 64 away from your Enderman farm for the ideal spawn rates. But that's all. Everything should be working 100%. If there is by chance something I missed, be sure to comment it and I will pin it so other people building this farm won't have any troubles whatsoever. And if you'd like to go ahead and check out my Mindful SMP series where I build this farm on episode number 2, feel free to click on the link on screen right now or another recommended video. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope this farm worked out for you, and we'll catch you guys all in the next one.